Hello there, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash, and of course I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now today I'm going to answer a question from a viewer, and I'm going to advocate for something which is absolutely an item which I have in my wardrobe, whatever happens in the world. And today's question, or it's more of a statement really, comes from a viewer called Dane. And he says, tweed seems to be the unofficial material of choice for archaeologists, and I'm always looking for little accessories or ways I can wear my tweed jacket with different outfits. It definitely sees much more use than my business suit. And I think what Dane has alluded to there is the fact that tweed perhaps has something of a jaded view when it comes to its position in men's wardrobes. Now, I personally think tweed is an incredibly versatile and active item which all intentionally well-dressed men should have within their wardrobes. It's so practical, it's so versatile, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. Why has tweed got this somewhat negative impression by men who are perhaps less versed in its qualities? Well, first of all, I think something of the reason why we think about tweed in the way that we do has to do with the way it's perceived in mass media. So we see it being routinely worn on period dramatizations like Downton Abbey, where, it's landed gentry, people who live in big houses and wear tweed when they're in the country. Also, tweed is very closely associated, understandably so, with outdoor pursuits, so countryside sports, particularly here in the UK. If you're into shooting, hunting, tweed tends to be the outfits of choice for a very good reason, actually, for people who find themselves in the outdoors. And when we look at the sort of fictional world of the sort of mass media, then we see, even characters like Indiana Jones. What more masculine of men can we think of when we think of Indiana Jones? He is probably the top of the pyramid for the rough and tumble guy. But when we see him in his teaching moments, when he's, a professor of archaeology, we see him decked out in tweed. And it gives us an impression that tweed is associated with perhaps the more academic of people, people who are teachers. Certainly in my heyday when I was in school, the sort of characterization of geography teachers were men who wore tweed jackets with leather patches on the elbows. So we've come to think of tweed in a sort of negative connotation when it comes to men's style. But that shouldn't be the case. Tweed is such a valuable item, and I think every intentionally well-dressed man should have at least one tweed jacket within their wardrobe. Now, one of the reasons why I think we should consider tweed to be more versatile for us well-dressed chaps is it's got so many marvellous qualities as part of, its general makeup. Inherently, tweed is tough and rugged because it's made of wool. Its construction is solid, it's densely knitted normally. So from an outdoor point of view, the reason why people favour it for outdoor pursuits is because it's a perfect garment for that environment. It is warm, it's tough. You can walk through sort of woodland in it. It's not going to fray. You're not going to get runs in the material if a little thorn catches in it. It's tough and rugged. It's going to last a long time. It's quite thickly constructed of good quality wool, so it's also going to be very warm in the depth of the coolest part of year, which is why now in autumn, that's when I drag my tweed jackets out of storage and I start wearing them. Now, the other beautiful advantage of tweed is it comes in a veritable rainbow of different colours and different patterns, because it adds a little texture, a little pattern to one's normally perhaps rather dull outfit. So you can choose them in any number of different colours, but of course, they come in colours which are appropriate to your personal style and taste. You can find what you like within the world of tweed, and of course, let's not forget, tweed is wearable in a vast variety of situations. It's not just for the outdoors. If you wear a tweed jacket with a pair of nice chinos, pair of nice slacks, it can take the place of a navy blazer. it is equally as smart in such situations. So it's got a lot of qualities that the intentionally well-dressed man would be a fool to overlook and consign it within the compartments of your brain merely to academics and geography teachers. Now let's talk about some of the situations in which you can wear your tweed jacket. Now, shall we say you're a modern man, and by virtue of that, you're rather casual in the way which you approach life. You don't throw on a necktie, you don't throw on fancy clothes, you want to go for the nice, easy, casual look for the majority of your life situations. Well, tweed has got you covered. Although it's somewhat of a formal jacket, in a way, it's cut in a sort of formal way with lapels and, it's definably a coat within the terms of tailoring. But because of the patterns and the colours, if you choose wisely, your jacket can be very versatile within your wardrobe. If you wear it with an open collared shirt, for instance, a dress shirt but no tie, with a pair of chinos, you can get away with what I might describe as sort of smarter casual situations. You don't have to wear a tie, it can still carry you through those casual days in work without looking like the schlob who's wearing sweatpants. You're still looking quite smart. Now, take away those chinos and put a pair of jeans on. You've now got what one would say is a rather casual look. Let's be honest, you can't call jeans, denim jeans, anything more than casual, but your lovely tweed jacket elevates that look, keeps you looking smart. Now, if you're a thoroughly modern fellow, all right, and dress shirts are not in your wheelhouse, your tweed jacket, if you really want to, it's not necessarily something I would do, but you could wear a t-shirt under that tweed jacket, and it's going to look just fine in this modern, hyper-casual world with a pair of jeans. What you've done, you're staying very casual, but your tweed jacket elevates you above the hoi polloi out there who are just simply wearing tracksuits and, hoodies. You're one step ahead of them, and all you've done is added a lovely tweed jacket to your collection of clothes. Particularly in the casual world, you can take advantage of the fact that tweed is available in a vast palette of colours and different styles. Now today I'm wearing a tweed jacket which is predominantly blue, but the sort of check pattern within it includes more rustic colours and a little bit of red. But when you go looking, you can find tweed in pretty much anything. I personally favour the natural colours, the earth colours. So look at browns, look at greens, any type of green, olive green, forest green, they all look great in tweed. You can then start looking at the more autumnal colours, the oranges from the leaves in the trees, the rusty red colours. All of these look perfect in tweed, and when they're sort of incorporated into the plaid patterns that you often find in tweed. So it can really, as well as adding texture, add an interesting flush of colour to your outfit. Now, we've talked about casual. What about the more formal? Maybe your life takes you in a path of the more conservative gentleman. Can you still wear tweed? Well, of course you can. Tweed, as I said, can take the place of a navy blazer or any other coloured blazer in your life. I mean, if you think tweed can't be worn stylishly in more formal situations, you need look no further than my sartorial touchstone of James Bond. Now, whilst he's a fictional character, the way he's been dressed on the big screen shows us an evolution of men's style over the last nearly 70 years, since the character has been known to us on the silver screen. And you will see that Bond has a definite solid relationship with tweed in its many forms as he's gone through life. I mean, when I think of Sean Connery, some would say the archetypical James Bond, I often think of him leaning against that silver Aston Martin, wearing a tweed jacket and looking every inch of the super debonair gentleman, and tweed is what's delivering it for him. But tweed, a nice tweed jacket worn with grey flannel slacks, navy flannel slacks, with chinos, put a shirt with a collar and a tie on, and you immediately elevate yourself to the, well, I would say business level of attire these days. In a world where men don't really know how to dress for, the workplace, a tweed jacket, slacks, shirt and tie, you're as smart as any other guy. And yet, because of the innate qualities of tweed, you're bringing something more to the party than the army of men who are maybe just wearing, a navy blazer. If you're wearing tweed, you've got the opportunity to introduce colour and texture and pattern into your outfit, which they don't have. So use it advisedly. Now, if tweed is a little step too far for you, you don't want to end up buying a tweed jacket or a tweed suit. Up to you, I get it. Not everybody is a lover of tweed, but you like the look of it. You like the texture. Yes, you can introduce it to your outfit, but by applying it to your accessories rather than your primary garments. So when we think of accessories, you know, I frequently see shoes these days, particularly full wingtip brogues, which have the vamp, so the bit around the lacing system, picked out in a tweed patterned material. It adds a little bit of tweed to the outfit, but without being overbearing. You can have tweed briefcases, you can have tweed scarves, you can have a tweed waistcoat. If you include it into a more plainer outfit, the tweed waistcoat can be the signature item in your outfit and be more interesting. If you want to go a little smaller, you can have a tweed pocket square. A tweed flat cap. Most of my flat caps are made of tweed, and that little addition of colour and texture just brings a sprinkling of joy to one's outfit. And if you think of any accessory, wallets, gloves, you can find it in tweed somewhere in this world, and you can introduce a little bit of tweed without it being overwhelming to your outfit. One little word of warning when it comes to tweed: be careful if you're trying to mix and match them in your outfit. If you're wearing a tweed jacket, that's enough. Don't be adding a different type of tweed, maybe as a waistcoat, or as a pocket square, or as a scarf, or as a flat cap. They don't necessarily all blend together. There's lots of colours, there's lots of pattern, and it won't marry up very nicely if you try and get them together jarringly. So be careful with your tweed, keep it subtle. One signature item of tweed in an outfit is normally enough. That's all we need to do. So, in conclusion, tweed is a performance material. It's worn for the outdoors and for sports, and you shouldn't have to reserve it, you know, for the occasions that people used to think tweed was appropriate. For academics, for archaeologists, for nerds. Not at all. It's an active outfit within your, within your collection of clothing. As I say, it's performance wear. Think of it like that. That's what James Bond did, and you won't go far wrong. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. You can contribute to the channel by leaving me a comment, writing me to an email, or even buying me a coffee, or even becoming a patron. And for the very small fee of about £3 a month, you can benefit from the additional video content that I create for all of my patrons. So, until the next time, wear your tweed when you go outdoors with pride and with passion. And I will see you again very soon.